education, and we welcome all people to our sport events. As your host, we would like to offer an invocation. Please join us in a time of prayer. Lord God, we thank you for the gift of sports. Let our actions today reflect your character and grace as we enjoy the gift of athleticism. We thank you for the opportunity to host Webster on our campus. We pray for the safety and protection of all, both on and off the court. We pray that we honor on you in all that we do, but especially through the demonstration of humility, patience, and self-control. May what we do here assist us in becoming better disciples in our journey of faith in Christ. Amen. Now, let's meet the starters for tonight's game. At guard for Webster, a junior from Memphis, Tennessee, number 3, Jason Coleman. At guard for Greenville, a junior from Discover Bay, California, number 4, Darius Scott. At guard for Webster, a freshman from St. Louis, Missouri, number 11, Gerard Sykes II. At guard for Greenville, a junior from St. Louis, Missouri, number 20, Jamie Collies. At guard for Webster, a junior from Memphis, Tennessee, number 12, Wayne Brown Jr. At guard for Greenville, a senior from Muscatine, Illinois, number 24, Jared Johnson. At forward for Webster, a junior from St. Louis, Missouri, number 23, Josh Webster. At forward for Greenville, a junior from Greenville, California, number 33, Brock Bailey. At forward center for Webster, a sophomore from Jennings, Missouri, number 24, Paul Jr. And for Greenville, at guard for junior from Winston, number 24, Travis Dickey. The Warlocks are coached by Chris Bunch. The Panthers are coached by George Barber. Officials for tonight's game are Bob Franklin, Jeff Nelson, and Sean Lee.
We welcome you back to H.J. Long Gymnasium here on the campus of Greenville University in Greenville, Illinois. And our second game of our doubleheader tonight, the men get their turn, and the Panthers and the Gorlocks will do battle. The Gorlocks come in sitting in first place in SLIAC on the men's side as well as the women's side. And for the Panthers, they're only 3-5 in conference and sitting on a 4-15 overall record. However, they've won 3 of their last 4 of all competition. And they're in a kind of a logjam of teams of 3-5 in conference play in the conference standings. A win today, all of a sudden, you're kind of vaulting yourself up into that top half of the conference and could potentially be putting yourself in a position to host a conference tournament game as the tip is won by the Gorlocks. Worked up the floor, Luster kicked it out. He gets it back. Wynn Brown Jr. spin, shoot from the free throw line is good. That's how our scoring starts. Wynn Brown Jr. will turnaround jumper is Jared Johnson.
Wynn Brown Jr., the smallest player on the floor, but also the leading scorer for Webster. He has 17. He's averaging 17 points a game in the conference for Webster.
And we had a Jared Johnson shot that got stuck between the backboard and the rim, so it turns into a jump ball.
Tyler was mentioning the logjam. There are 4 teams at 3-5, all tied for 4th place. And a lot's going to happen in the next couple of weeks.
Johnson gets it into Bailey, kicks it out to Calmes. He loses the handle, has to dive on the floor, maintains the possession. Scott now off the pass from Dickey. His 3 is good. It's a 3-2 Panther lead as Darius Scott gets the scoring started for the Panthers, keeping pace with his last game. pretty good outing against Eureka. Win Brown Jr. pushes the floor and has the first 4 points of the evening for Webster. As Jared Johnson pulls up at the free throw line. Jumper is good.
Good shot by Jared there. Webster's taken Brown Jr. and kind of putting him in the middle of the floor.
Luster had to go back and chase, but it was tipped, so no going back across half court whistle. Good passing here from Webster. Dropped down low, trying to find Carl Moore Jr. He has to bring it out, and he walked. So good defensive pressure there from the Panthers, and now we'll get our first substitution.
Greenville had beaten Spalding on Thursday night, and Spalding went over to Webster and handed Webster their first defeat in the conference after Greenville had beaten Spalding here on Thursday.
Crespo kicks it out. Corner three, no good from Keisham Thomas. Rebound to Carl Moore. Outlets to Jamar Sykes. Brown, he gives it up. Luster drives, fading away with the left hand, no good. Ball being tipped around, putback is good. Off the hands of Sykes. And it's a 6-5 Webster lead, just 2 minutes into the game, not even, and now we get a whistle.
Sykes, the fourth leading scorer on Webster. He's averaging about 8 points a game.
It'll be Crespo to inbound under the basket. Tried to go a bounce pass and thread the needle to find his teammate there in Peacock. Just probably an ill-advised pass attempt there. Now he gets it into Peacock on the lob. Peacock hands it back to Crespo, who finds Joseph Craig. Kicks it out. Crespo thought about the three fakes, now drives along the baseline. His pull-up jumper no good. Rebound to the Gorlocks as they push the pace up the floor. Good drop-off pass. Carl Moore Jr. with the finish.
Crespo on the other end, I thought passed up a good shot and dribbled into a little bit more of a difficult one.
Thomas, he thought about it, decides to dribble. To Crespo. That pass too far off the mark, and Crespo comes up with a steal back the other way. Drops it off, no look to Peacock, who goes off the window for two. So good job there by Crespo to make up for the mistake, or the errant pass rather, and almost comes up with another one there. Instead, it's just going to be off of Crespo and an inbound under the basket for the Gorlocks as we get another substitution. And a line change here for the Panthers is Scott, Jared, and Caden Johnson out, Jamie Calmise and Twom into the game. Trying to inbound, he does. Finds Wynn Brown. That was Luster on the inbound. Having it stolen was Coleman. Jamie Calmise looked like he got a hand in there. Darius Scott had Caden Johnson open in the far corner for half a second. Gives it to Jared Johnson. His long three. No good off the front of the rim. Caden Johnson a good save, but ends up tossing it right to Josh Luster.
Yeah, Jared didn't look fully comfortable taking that three. He was about 2 steps too far.
Yeah. Felt like it was the thing he had to do more than the thing he wanted to do, I'm sure. Now three in the corner for Webster. Rattled home. Jamar Sykes the second gets a big three. 11-7 is the Gorlock lead. So we're under 16 and a half to play in the first 20 minutes. Caden Johnson step back three, no good. Calmise put back opportunity, no, but he's fouled. So he'll go to the line for a couple.
Let's hope the men don't do what the women did. The men also struggle from three in general. They're shooting 28% from three in conference. And we don't want Webster, if you're a Greenville fan, you don't want Webster men doing what Webster women did. Webster women shooting about the same until tonight. When they shot about 37% from three. Really made a difference, too, in that first game in the women's side.
It really just didn't matter where Webster was going to take a shot from in that first game because it was probably going to fall. Saw a couple of those types of shots as Calmise to go 2 for 2. He can't. Jamie goes 1 for 2, and now Webster with a 3-point lead. Good run here, dropping it off was Sykes to Diallo. Loose ball corralled in by Sykes.
Webster looks a little reluctant to kind of attack at the rim. They pulled it out now twice.
Good move along the baseline and a finish by Nugent. 13-8, a 5-point lead. Crespo, deep three from the wing, no good. Long rebound goes to Brown. When Brown Jr. hanging up in the air has a shot blocked, but there for the putback is Nugent, and he goes over Peacock. Alvarez can't finish on a long outlet pass, rebound to Webster.
Webster on a run here.
Sykes drops it down low, going off the window is Luster. 17-8, a 9-point lead and a 6-0 run. Peacock, good movement for the big man, kicks it out. Long three from Calmeese, no good on this near wing. And the Gorlocks with another defensive rebound. They work up the floor. Nugent now, he's had a quick 4 points. Quick couple good looks there, but that pass off the mark and a whistle. Diallo tried to work it back up the floor. Crespo got in the passing lane.
I think we talked about this, Tyler, last game. I think one of the keys for Greenville is going to be how well can they connect from three land. And they did it very well against on Saturday against Eureka to pull out one of those, to pull out that game. And I think we're going to need to see good three-point shooting from a number of different guys. I think we're going to need to see it from Dickey, and I think we're going to need to see it from Darius Scott. And I think we're going to need to see it a little bit from Alvarez. And, of course, Jared Johnson and Keyshawn Thomas. So they've got some guys who can shoot it, but as you and I've talked most of the year, they've really struggled from beyond the arc. And here lately, they've been shooting it much better from there, which has really created Greenville to stay in games and then win some here as of late.
You mentioned winning as of late. We talked about it at the top of the broadcast. A Greenville team that's won 3 of their last 4, and it might not sound great, and then you couple it with just the overall look at the schedule and record for this Greenville team. But Doug, we've talked about it this entire season. It seems like each game we do, we see some sort of improvement, and just a team that looks to be playing with a bit better poise in execution out there. And, well, they'll look to make it 4 of their last 5 and really stay in the hunt of getting into that top 4 area once we get to SLIAC tournament play.
Webster getting off to a great start. They're 8 for 10 so far for 80%.
Jared Johnson was looking for someone to pass, decides to just put up a shot over a couple of defenders. Rattled out, was about halfway down before it lipped out. Kicked out. Mark Moore, the hero from last year's tournament team, gives up the pass, and Hawkins' shot can't fall. Loose ball. Looks like we'll get a jump ball here. Mark Moore hit a couple of big shots last year in postseason play for this Webster team, and fitting that it happened around that March time. And he's back out onto the floor here, and now we get another whistle. And it's to reset the shot clock. So now that that's all situated, should be ready for action. 14:21 left to play in this first half. Battered into Nugent. Swings it to Hawkins, who finds Mark Moore. Pass out to the wing, skip pass. Hawkins, his 3. No good, goes on top of the backboard, and a whistle. So good defense there by the Panthers. Jared Johnson will run the point. Worked off a half screen from Twom, but lost the handle. And Diallo picks it up for Webster. Nugent
looked
lost
like
the
a
handle.
travel,
Yeah.
and it is, yeah.
It was either Nugent didn't have possession or walked about 2.5 steps off the pass from Mark Moore. Either way, benefits the Panthers.
Greenville having a hard time understanding who's taking it out underneath the basket here twice.
Game slowed down a little bit. Dickey, his three, got it to go, hit every part of the rim, and then just for good measure, tipped in off the backboard, 17-11.
He's one of the guys that I think has to stay in it.
Johnson just a half second late on the steal opportunity. Diallo gives it up. Moore kicks it back out. Diallo fakes a pass into the corner. Dribble drive. Kicks it. Hawkins near corner. Three. No good off the rim. Good effort there from Nugent to prevent a clean rebound there for Twom, but it goes out off Nugent, and the possession back to the Panthers as we get another line change.
Trenton, Mr. Energy,
Yeah.
back in the game here. He provided quite a little spark at the end of the first half against Eureka that really was a big part of that game.
Absolutely. He's always fun to watch, but he's even more fun to watch when he gets an opportunity like he did over the weekend. And I was so glad that you had the opportunity to ask Coach Barber about Trenton Lee and just what his energy and what he means to this team. Go back and listen to that post-game interview to hear some really nice words from a coach about a player that he truly cares about. There's a bucket good by Crespo. All of a sudden, it's a 4-point deficit for the Panthers. And Joseph Craig coming back from his defensive back position. Thomas, his three, no good off the rim. Rebound down low.
What are we going to...
A late foul,
Yeah.
and I don't disagree with the foul call, but everyone was kind of standing around anticipating the whistle, and we finally got it there. So first team foul.
I agree. I thought they waited so long they might have to call a jump ball.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone kind of stopped what they were doing, like we mentioned, just in anticipation, and nothing happened. Finally get the whistle. And the Gorloks will have the possession with Nate Jones to inbound. Ball worked up the floor, and pass was picked off by Keishan Thomas of the Panthers. Had Trenton Lee open in the corner for half a second. Fake the pass out there. Crespo now gets a pass below. Turnaround jumper along the baseline, no good. Long outlet pass up to Mark Moore.
I'd like to see the Panthers improve their shot selection just a little bit more.
Jones trapped in the corner, gives it up to Moore. Moore being double teamed. Finds Sykes. Lost the handle. Carlos Crespo picks up the loose ball.
Defensively, Greenville's gotten in a little bit of a groove here.
Yeah, they have. Good fake. Thomas drives. He's fouled, I believe, on the floor before the shot.
I'd like to see Thomas get into the mid-range area. I think that's where he's really effective. He certainly can hit the three, but I like his mid-range game, and when he gets that going, he's really tough. Last game, we saw him drive to the hole and pick up 2 or 3 shots with his right hand at the end of the game that extended the lead and really made that win feasible against Eureka.
Inbound into the corner. Dickey, three! Good! Right off the pass. Travis Dickey makes it 17-16, under 12 to play.
Yeah, Greenville seems to be locked in here defensively especially.
Good job there by Jared Johnson, but he's worked around. Good hands by Twom. Yeah. But again, Webster able to corral the loose ball.
Just Greenville's really flying around, really getting a lot of deflections.
Work down low, off-balance shot, no good. Rebound, Darius Scott. That shot came from Carl Moore Jr. Jared Johnson pull up three. He got it! 19-17, Panthers with a lead.
All this is created, I think, by their defense right now. Has really gotten them into a lot of energy. Too bad on that foul by Dickey because we kind of had him on the run a little bit.
I'd agree. This has been offense born out of defense.
Yeah.
And just by getting Webster a bit out of sorts, we talked about the Greenville women seeming a bit rushed through most of their game.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this Greenville men's team's been able to do the last couple of possessions
Yeah.
to Webster.
I agree.
Kicked out. Worked back. Wynn Brown Jr. trying to work around Jared Johnson. He can't. Finds a teammate. And that shot no good from Sykes, but there for the putback goes Coleman. And we're tied at 19.
When we talk about that defensive rebounding being a situation for Greenville where they need to do some of that.
Twom steps into a mid-range, shot no good. That was just inside the free throw line. Now Brown. Oh, nice drive in the lane. Almost a no-look off the glass over Twom.
Yeah.
And a pretty shot.
Yeah, he's fun to watch,
Yeah,
isn't he?
he is. It's a fun Webster team to watch, as is this Greenville team. Scott's fouled.
He's probably 5'8" at best, and he plays like he's 6'8". Little spin move was fun to watch.
Yeah, you see a guy who stands about the size of Wynn Brown Jr., and he'll kind of hang out around that three-point line, maybe just run the point to look to pass, but
Yep.
he's all ready to go. Once he gets that ball, he's taking 2 dribbles inside the three-point line, trying to work towards the bucket. He'll be a key factor for the Gorlocks today, as the first was good from Darius Scott. 10:18 left to play in this first half. Scott's second is good.
I think the Panthers are going to need Darius Scott from 3.
Yeah.
And the Panthers are going to need to definitely get some help here from Crespo from 3. Makes a big difference when he's hitting from 3.
Good break of the press here by Webster. Wynn Brown Jr. finally found someone who was up to the task, and that's Peacock down low. So the height disadvantage, and now a turnover in Greenville with the possession. So good job.
Yeah.
Good work defensively.
Yeah, Peacock being back on that made all the difference in the world.
Joseph Craig now hangs up in the air, off balance, gets it out to Alvarez. Wing 3, nothing but nets. 24-21.
You know, if the Panthers can really get running on the 3, I really think that this is going to end up being a much different team down the stretch.
Well, absolutely.
Of course, they've changed a little bit how they do defense, just a little bit, putting the big men back, and that seemed to help some.
Correct.
But I think they've also shot the ball better from 3. Here's Alvarez again.
That 3 no good off the front of the rim, and there for the rebound goes Josh Luster.
They need to hit about 3 of those in a row, really send the roof off this place.
Brown Jr. forced back out, looking for a teammate. He's already used his dribble, finally gets it up, and they're going to get Craig for a foul.
I had somebody ask me the other day, Tyler, do they even call 5 seconds anymore?
No.
You sure don't see it, do you?
No, you really don't. And, of course, we're talking about the 5 seconds of closely guarded defense,
right.
not under
Right.
in inbounds. And, yeah, it's something you don't see too often. I think a lot of times the err on the side of if you're a ball handler and you're dribbling the ball and trying to make an effort, they won't. But it's that and the 3 seconds in the lane, never really called anymore at many levels. But Webster with the inbound. They do, and Caden Johnson breaks up the initial pass. Webster still with the control, working along the baseline, and they're going to get Twom.
Caden Johnson, I don't know if we got that on film or not, but that'd make a end of the year highlight film there. I mean, he went right straight through the bench, just diving to try to save one.
Inbound is tipped away by Cal Meese as he takes a dive about a row deep across the way. Good job by the Panthers here, not making the inbounds easy. And they lead at 24-21. Now Wynn Brown. Gives it up, Nugent. Takes a couple dribbles, floater, no good off the back heel. Caden Johnson skying for the rebound as Darius Scott brings it up. Pass to no one, and just a bit of miscommunication. I think Scott prematurely picked up his dribble.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who I think Darius might have been trying to go into Twom.
Pass was off the mark. Jared Johnson tried to Euro step, and now he's going to get called for offensive. It was out of control, says the referee.
I agree, he was out of control. I just didn't know if he charged for sure, but it is what it is. Probably because he was out of control, it was more apt to be called.
So Nugent will take a seat for Webster as Luster comes back in.
Yeah, I would say that Webster has been made to feel uncomfortable tonight.
Yes, they've been out of sorts a bit on the offensive end. Hawkins, corner three, good, nothing but nets. Knotted back up at 24.
Yeah, and that's what Webster's going to have to do, shooting 28% from the season from three. They're going to have to knock down their own percentage of threes. Webster here in a 2-3 zone.
Scott, he dribbles top of the key. Jared Johnson, dribble drive, gets to the baseline, pull-up jumper is good for two. Jared Johnson so good off the dribble.
Yeah, Thomas and Johnson are good on that mid-range game when they're under control shooting it there.
Darius Scott guards Win Brown Jr., who gives it up. Diallo. Cross-court pass almost saved by Hawkins, but he took a step out of bounds. And so the Panthers back with the possession and a new group in, including Peacock, Adrian Alvarez, Keyshawn Thomas, Carlos Crespo, and Joseph Craig.
Fairly low-scoring game for this style. 7 minutes to go.
Crespo gets a pass and was trying to find Craig in the lane. Instead, it was sent out of bounds by Luster. So 22 to shoot for the Panthers. Peacock, his mid-range, no good. Gorlocks pushing the other way. Pull-up jumper at the free throw line. Good. Win Brown Jr.
He's one guy that's not thrown off by what the Panthers do.
The loose ball all started with Hawkins. Falls in the hands of Win Brown Jr. He goes all the way and finishes for two off the window.
He just makes the game look easy.
Yeah, he does. 28-26. Back and forth first half. It's been a first half of some runs too. Nothing major, though, for either team. Craig tried to work around and find Peacock. Instead, Nate Jones was able to get in the passing lane. And we'll get another look at Brock Bailey as Donato Peacock will take a seat. Crespo inbounds to Craig. His shot off the mark, and
I think it's going to be a foul on Dickey, who undercut.
Yeah, they're going to get Brock Bailey fresh back into the game. Got a little too aggressive on his box out there. And Nugent back into the game, and Luster will take a seat. 6:29 left to play in the first half. 28-26, Webster lead. It's Diallo trying to break the press. Keyshawn Thomas comes up with the interception. And then he has it poked away. Nice job there by Nate Jones working from behind as Webster. Pull-up mid-range jumper off the window for Win Brown Jr. You don't see that all that often.
I'm going to have to find a way to at least contain him because he could really take over this game.
Craig, fake to pass out. Brock Bailey, cross-court pass. It was too high for Thomas to catch and shoot. Too strong of a pass to Craig. Finds its way to Alvarez. He dribbles in the lane, fading away. Shot no good. Nate Jones, the rebound for Webster. Nugent, Hawkins. Trying to work it back. Ball loose on the floor. And looks like we'll get a jump ball. And possession arrow will point.
I think the Panthers are just going to have to work a little bit to just get a better shot. I know they always want a quick shot, but I think it's been forced here the last couple possessions.
Yeah, a couple of we understand a quick shot, but not a quick off-balance rush shot that is a low percentage.
Yeah.
Certainly don't need that.
Yeah, your term off-balance, I think, kind of describes what I'm seeing.
Jared Johnson will bring the ball up the floor. Travis Dickey has his 3 blocked, and surprise Twom didn't get whistled for an illegal screen there. And George Barber going to be issued a coach's box warning. And don't see that too often.
Coach's box warning. I wonder if that's ever even been mentioned to Coach Olfeson, the women's coach at Webster. It sure wasn't mentioned to the Eureka coach last week on Saturday, was it, when he was out near the top of the key. That's a good move there.
Good fake, good drive, good finish. Jared Johnson. Is Webster. Works up the floor. Errant pass picked off by Caden Johnson. Nice job trailing by Caden. Gives it up. Dickey, his off balance 3, no good. Caden Johnson touched the ball while he was out of bounds.
I thought Dickey had a chance to get those puppies set a little bit more. He took it pretty quickly there, and I think he could have taken that shot. We wanted him to take the shot. He just took it, and he was, as you said, off balance.
Off balance, rushed. I agree with you. He had at least another half a second. Good work around the rim there by Nate Jones. Hook shot gets 2 for Jones. It's 32-28. Jared Johnson to Caden Johnson. Tried to give it back out, but tipped out of bounds by Nate Jones. He's had a good few minutes here, Nate Jones.
Yeah. I'd like to see Caden Johnson here get some looks. Yeah. We've seen him get hot.
Seemed like there is a brief stretch, maybe towards the end of non-conference season, where we didn't see Caden too much.
I would agree.
But since we've really got into the flow of SLIAC play, he's been such an important piece as Jared Johnson's 3 is off the mark and off the rim. Jones now with the possession for Webster, and he walked. Big man a bit out of place out there around half court.
That group right there is a good little defensive group, and they've created some problems for Webster. Calmise, Dickey, Caden Johnson, Jared, and Twom. That's a good little group there.
Crespo.
Good pass.
To Thomas. Off the pass. His 3 is good.
Yeah, nice job by Crespo there. Very nice.
32-31. Crespo to Thomas.
Crespo looked like he knew what he wanted to do. 3 dribbles before he penetrated.
Good hesitation there by Craig to avoid the foul. Keyshawn Thomas skies straight up. Shot's good regardless. First bunch wanted a foul. He's not going to get it. Crespo, wing 3 across the way. No good.
I like the shot there.
Nate Jones, 2-handed jam, no good. Long rebound to Win Brown Jr. He tried to drop it off to Coleman, and now it's worked back out. Coleman faked the pass. He walked. Nate Jones tried to bring the bench to their feet, and he put it off the back heel of the rim. So our score stays at 34-31. The Gorlocks in the lead. Crespo to Craig. Kicks it out. Crespo.
Good pass.
To Alvarez.
Good pass.
Towards baseline. Craig tried to go with the reverse under the basket. No good.
Job by Alvarez there.
Rebound by Nugent. He just goes with the home run pass to Jones. Tracks it down. Gives it up. Sykes drives. And we got a charge.
Yeah. Good job there by Keyshawn Thomas. He got in good position. He was there in plenty of time.
Got there in time, drew the foul with 3:12 left in this first half. Still a 3-point Gorlock lead, and the referee across the way just said something. Didn't quite make it out if it was another warning of some sort or.
I don't know if it was a warning. I think he was actually, you don't see it very often, but he was kind of explaining, hey, coach, that was clearly a charge. Here's where he was, and this was what happened. I kind of liked it, actually. I mean,
got to be a little transparent as Jared Johnson fading away. Gets nothing but net, 34-33. I think maybe if Chris Bunch has an argument, it's maybe Keyshawn folded a bit early, anticipating the contact. But you're right, he was there, Doug. Jones is fouled, and it's going to be a foul called on Tlom. And Webster shooting the rest of the way.
No question that was a foul, but I thought the whistle was late. But no big deal. It's just like almost as if they're waiting to see if it goes in.
And the first is no good from Jones. Nate Jones, sophomore forward, 6'5", 200 pounds out of Huntsville, Alabama.
Just going to have to see Greenville warm up a little bit from three land, I think. Now, Webster comes into this game. We've talked about it. They're kind of the front runner here. They've only lost one game, but they lost to Spalding at home. Very big surprise. So it tells you a little bit about the conference in general.
We talked about the mess of teams at 3 and 5 in conference, including this Greenville team. And Nugent's going to draw the foul there on Caden Johnson. And
yeah, I think Jared got into the lane and didn't quite know what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Jared and Keyshawn get into that mid-range game, and I'd like to see Crespo be able to knock down some threes. Dickey's done what we've wanted him to do, and you know, Caden Johnson's just an unselfish player. I'd really like him to get some looks.
Nugent misses the front end. Caden Johnson, Darius Scott kicked it out to Jared Johnson. Darius Scott may have gotten away with a bit of a walk.
Good
Johnson
pass.
Drops it off to Caden Johnson, who finishes. We're tied at 35. Great possession there by both Caden and Jared Johnson. Worked in the lane, shot good.
Nice little teardrop there, huh?
Yeah, floater teardrop from Coleman is good, nothing but net. 3 from Jared Johnson, no good. Now working the pace, going in for 2.
I like that no call there. Yeah. I really do.
And I like that without issuing a flop warning.
Yeah, there's no reason for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Jared Johnson, or Caden Johnson.
Good shot.
No good. And Mark Morrill watched that go out of bounds.
Man, I like that shot by Caden.
Yeah. Caden, junior guard out of Jefferson City.
This group here, I'd like to kind of really see this group get going. Alvarez, Crespo,
Had a bit of
Thomas.
a slow start. Still trying to find the footing a bit. Offense hasn't really been there for this group too much. Craig,
he
had a firm grip on possession.
Yeah.
I think that's the right call there of a jump ball.
I do too.
It didn't look so even with a bit of a height difference in position of where Craig had gripped the ball, but good call. Possession stays with the Gorlocks after the jump ball. And they'll have an inbound under their own basket. Luster to inbound. Finds Hawkins. Brown. Tries to spin out of a double team. Gives it up to Hawkins. Extra pass down low. Jones walked.
Yeah.
Jones got going a bit too early. Now the Panthers trailing by 4, just over a minute left in this first half. Cross-court pass, stepping into it was Keyshawn Thomas, but it was blocked. Up to Hawkins, off balance, no good. Tracking down the rebound was Win Brown Jr., but then he lost the handle trying to split a double team. Thomas, pull up 3, no good off the front of the rim.
Good rebound, Craig. Good
drops
dish.
it off to Peacock, who can't finish. Rebound controlled by Luster.
Greenville's just having a hard time going into the hole here.
From Brown Jr. to Nate Jones. Hands it right back off to him. Hawkins now. Gives it up. Jones. Webster will have to get a shot off. Jones just works off of contact. A weird possession there for both teams.
Yeah.
No one really incredibly urgent to work towards the basket. Now Greenville can hold if they want. Keyshawn Thomas to Crespo along
Good
the baseline.
pass.
Tip pass out. Craig, wing 3. Good!
Nice play by Crespo there.
39-38. Great play by Crespo. Good finish as that shot's no good. 39-38 here at halftime. Webster with the 1-point advantage, but it was a entertaining first half and good resilience again by the Panthers. Whenever they were getting blitzed at times, they sustained the run. They're only down 1 going into the break.
Yeah, I think Greenville played well defensively. It's just my summary. Not so well in terms of hitting shots on the offensive end. Some of that has been shot selection. Some of it has been shooting off balance. I think if they can get those things corrected, I think they got a great shot here tonight. A little bit interested in how Webster plays Brown. They don't really play Brown at the point, and he doesn't really run the show. They kind of play him like a 2 or 3. I understand it because he's good, but it just seems to me like him running the point. I mean, he's just masterful at controlling the game, so I'm a little surprised at that.
We'll see what adjustments are made at half. Again, Webster with a 39-38 lead over the Panthers of Greenville here. We'll step aside, take a break, as you're watching the Panther Sports Network.
It started in a small town in southern Illinois, where a dream to play collegiate basketball took me from my familiar Christian home to a faith-filled university. And before I knew it, I found a new home, on the court with my basketball team, as a student body president, where I felt even more in love with my community. And I found a leader, in myself, in the marketing department, covering social media, learning about photography and video, and starting a podcast. On the stage at a local church, and in the dorm as an RA. In the classroom, student teaching as an English education major. A major I chose when I decided to cultivate my passion for writing, and when I felt a call from God to become a guidance counselor and a coach. On this path, I was challenged like I've never been challenged before. I learned to dig deep, trust myself, and trust God. My faith grew strong, my friends became my family, and when I tripped up, I found support and love, guidance and grace. I learned that I was uniquely made to shape the world, that my passions mean something, and my purpose is out there, ready to be fulfilled. I chose this path, and I am prepared for what lies ahead. I was uniquely made to shape the world.
Out there are possibilities. You want experiences and an education that challenges you. But under all of that, you want to know that you can make a difference, no matter where your possibilities take you. We believe you can. Experiences, education, and career readiness are our standard. Developing your character and opening your eyes to how you can serve others, that's our calling.
Welcome back to H.J. Long Gymnasium here on the campus of Greenville University. Your score at halftime, the visiting Webster Gorlocks lead it by 39-38 as we get set to start this second half. Run down the leading scores for each team real quick for you. Win Brown Jr. leads it for the Gorlocks with 12, and with 11 for the Panthers is Jared Johnson. Those are the two leading scorers. Webster shot 18 of 32, good for 56% from the field in that first half, compared to 14 of 40, good for 35% for the Panthers in that first half. But the Panthers, they weathered some storms there. They trailed by 9 at one point, had an 11-0 run that helped them regain and take their largest lead of the evening at 3. They did relinquish that lead late in that first half, but they only trail by 1 as we start now. Cross-court pass, Scott, corner 3. That's a way to get the second half started. 41-39, Panthers lead.
Yeah, Greenville was 7 for 21 from 3 in the first half. 14 for 40 overall.
And another turnover here. Scott, pull-up 3 off the pass from Cal Meese. He got it. 44-39. Darius Scott with a quick 6 to start this second half. 2 big shots from Scott.
Greenville forced 19 turnovers there in that first half. That's kind of what kept them in the game, because Webster shot 56% on 18 for 32 in that first half.
Webster now. Josh Lester works it down low through the hands of Hawkins and out of bounds. A turnover. So Greenville already a 5-point lead here to start this second half. Looking to add to it. It's Jared Johnson. Skip pass. Dickey thought about it. Kicks it back out. Finds Jamie Calmise, now a kick ball after his attempted pass to Dickey was stopped by the foot of a Gorlock.
And this is the group that's played probably the best of the 3 groups here in the first half.
Imagine they'll see a little bit more time, a little extra slot in the rotation. But a turnover there, and now Win Brown Jr. Mentioned he's the leading scorer for the Gorlocks. Hawkins, corner 3, knocked down is good. 44-42. Panthers with a lead. Calmise thought about it, gives it up. Dickey, his corner 3 is good. There's another Panther that's going to have to keep it rolling. He's had a good night so far.
That's his third 3 of the game here.
When Brown Jr. puts his head down, drives to the rack, and finishes over Jared Johnson.
I'm just surprised he doesn't shoot and score more.
Now Jared Johnson going the other way. Tried to kick it out to Scott. This pass was deflected out of bounds by Hawkins, so they'll stay with Greenville as we get a line change. As Keyshawn Thomas, Joseph Craig, Donato Peacock, Carlos Crespo, and Adrian Alvarez all come back into the game.
Just seems like when the ball's in Brown's hands for Webster, everything changes.
Yeah. Well, he just knows exactly what he wants to do with the ball. As soon as he gets it, as Hawkins comes up with a steal, going the other way. Alvarez trying to chase him down, no good. Got some help from Thomas, but not enough as Hawkins goes for 2. 47-46 as Crespo works the baseline, kicks it out. Thomas able to keep it in front, now spins, steps in the lane, kicks out. Alvarez, 3, no good, left it short. Crespo chases it down. Turnaround jumper, no good. Gets his own rebound. hands it off to Thomas. Skip pass. Alvarez, his shot was tipped, and now out of bounds, I believe they're going to say, as Carl Moore Jr. stepped out on the rebound.
That actually looked like it might have been a foul on Craig.
That's what I thought the initial whistle was going to be.
I think Craig got lucky there.
And Crespo inbounds. Thomas, deep three, rattled out. Good rebound there from Donato Peacock. One of the few times we really see him use his size down there. Gives it up. Crespo, corner three, no good. And rebound controlled by Webster. Brown Jr. gives it up to Carl Moore Jr., who finishes with the foul. He'll go to the line.
So just when Greenville came out and got a little bit of some momentum, Webster just jumps right back into the lead. Some mistakes for Greenville on the offensive end, just not getting clean looks and not making clean passes.
Moore hits the extra. And a deep three from Keyshawn Thomas on the far wing gives Greenville a 50-49 lead.
The nice thing about Keyshawn is he doesn't think twice.
No. He's
good pass.
When Brown Jr. pull up right around the free throw line. Automatic.
It's all over when he touches it.
Automatic with that shot. Thomas drives the lane.
Good pass by Thomas.
Kicks it out. Alvarez skip pass to Crespo. Dribble drive. Pull up mid-range. No good. Peacock gets the rebound. Goes back up. He's fouled and one. Back and forth we go.
Peacock is a bench favorite and slowly becoming a fan favorite. The bench loves Peacock. Every time he scores, everybody is up, clapping, going nuts.
Well, and rightfully so. The freshman out of South Sudan has put together quite a year and has, again, been one of those players we've steadily seen get better and better and more comfortable, I think, is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, Coach Barber describes both he and Twom as very skilled. So, not necessarily strong. And so because they look a little weak, sometimes they don't look as skilled as they actually are. But both shoot the ball fairly well.
And for guys of their size, it must be a little different playing in a system that encourages everyone to shoot from pretty much wherever on the floor, not staying traditionally around the block and in the lane. As Win Brown Jr. being harassed, gives it up. Hawkins, three, rattled out. Jared Johnson, good job going up without fouling, gets the rebound. Works around a man, goes to the lane, hangs up in the air with the left hand and finishes. 55-51.
Greenville's gotten in these positions more than a few times and just have not been able to extend the lead. They're going to call that, I believe, on Caden Johnson. Good to see him help Brown Jr. up.
Yeah, that's a weird foul because the initial contact and then slip is set up by Brown himself, trying to create a little bit of space.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And then he slips and falls to the ground, as Johnson does as well. Unfortunate break there for Caden. He picks up his second foul of the night. Is Webster. And Hawkins in the corner, gives it up, finds Luster.
I always like it when it gets out of Brown's hands.
Yeah, you breathe a little easier.
As a Panther fan.
Brown still works himself open off the glass, rolled out. Long rebound goes to Coleman. He pulls up mid-range. It's good.
It's not going to be able to give Webster second opportunities, I don't think.
Not that easy. At the very least, is Jared Johnson. Try to work off the screen of Twom, a bit out of sorts. Corner three. Caden Johnson is good.
He likes that corner, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And now that's going to draw a full timeout from Chris Bunch, so we'll step aside. There's 15:23 left to play. Greenville leads it 58-53 as you're watching the Panther Sports Network.
My name is Eric Garcia, and I'm a first-generation college student from Los Angeles, California. Coming to college, I wanted to continue my athletic career while pursuing an engineering degree. I wanted to fulfill my parents' dream that they had for me, getting a degree to get a really good job to help my parents from the job that they're in. I wanted to get it right for my parents to achieve their dreams, to set the example they dreamed of. As my time in Greenville went on, my passions slowly started creeping up on me without even knowing. Going into my junior year, I bought a camera, and that's when everything changed for me. As I looked through the lens, it was like I was looking at the world from a whole different perspective with countless possibilities. Once I got going with the camera, people began to see things in me that I knew were there.
Welcome back. 58-53 our score here in the second half. 15:23 left to play as the Panthers have that 5-point lead. Be Webster basketball.
It's kind of interesting. Greenville has this 5-point lead. Webster is shooting a blazing 60% from the field. You got to think that they're not going to be able to hit 60 the rest of the game.
And they're going to get Hawkins with a walk as he falls to the floor.
Webster at that timeout had 21 turnovers. That certainly led to some of the reason the Panthers have a 5-point lead. And also the Panthers came out early. They're 7 for 13 and 5 for 9 from 3, so that's really helped.
Alvarez to Craig. He finds Crespo. Dribble towards the baseline, kicks it out. Keyshawn Thomas, step back three, knocked it down. An 8-point lead for the Panthers. Keyshawn Thomas.
See if the Panthers can't try to push one open here a little bit. Another turnover by Webster.
Errant pass down the floor.
I just don't think the ball is in the hands of Brown for my liking if I'm a Webster fan, but I'm not around him every day.
Crespo. Working off a screen of Craig. Skip pass to Thomas. Craig now. Spinning in the lane, needs to find someone in 3 seconds.
Yeah, he's got to get rid of the ball quickly. Yeah, and I think he could have taken a shot in there.
Yeah.
He does a nice little job scoring in there. He was clearly looking for one of his teammates, which you have to admire. But I think in that case, Craig's just going to have to go up and take a shot.
Mark Moore and Diallo back in the game for the Gorlocks. Hawkins. Extra pass, Nugent. One extra dribble off the glass. It in. 61-55.
Nugent's a strong 6'2". He's 6'2", 196.
Thomas, not a great decision, and Alvarez tried to throw it off a Webster player to have the inbound under the basket. Instead, it went off of Craig.
That's kind of what's happening to the Panthers. They get a little bit of a lead, then they kind of give it back. Nugent, by the way, is from Kingston, Jamaica.
And going to have a real tough time just getting it across the timeline is Webster. Extra pass, Carl Moore Jr. draws the foul. Go to the line and shoot a couple. That's Craig's third. Just in time for that next unit to work their way in. And the first is good from Carl Moore. Greenville with 3 team fouls, 1 team foul for Webster so far here in the second half. Greenville did a really nice job in that first half for a long period of time. One, working without a foul, and then just staying under the limit. The second from Carl Moore, no good. He goes 1 for 2, 61-56. Panthers with the lead. Jared Johnson kicks it out. Travis Dickey, 3, no good off the front of the rim, left it short.
It's a good play by Jared. Good job by Jared getting back on D.
Hawkins hands it off to Carl Moore, who attacks the body of Twom and goes up and in off the glass. And it's a 3-point lead for the Panthers for the moment.
I think we're going to have to shoot that little free throw.
Caden Johnson wins the loose ball battle over Mark Moore. Brock Bailey,
good pass.
Good pass. Caden Johnson, good cut to the rim. He finishes. Good work by Caden Johnson to keep working towards the rim, and a good find there by Brock Bailey.
Yeah, the Panthers kind of backed out of the press there. I thought they had him there.
Nugent, good no call.
Oh my goodness.
That's
very late.
Yeah, I mean,
very late.
You know, he could have called it tomorrow morning if he waited a little longer. And that's, I think, what Caden and Jared are talking about across the way there is, like, hey, if it's a foul the entire way, just call it. We mentioned this in the first game. It was almost waiting to see if the shot was going to fall to justify whether making the call or not. And
I don't know. It just looked to me like, first of all, it looked to me like Dickey had position. But, you know, if you're not going to, I mean, at that point they just should have not called anything as we've been discussing this. But it is what it is. I didn't see Dickey moving, but maybe he was.
And going 1 for 2 is Nugent. 63-59. We're under 13 to play in the game. Jared Johnson. Floater is good.
Yeah, this group here is moving really well defensively.
Pass
They're
off
really
the mark.
making it difficult.
Goes through the hands of Nate Jones, corralled in by Sykes. Gives it up to Nugent, who gives it right back.
Kate Johnson's moving so well out there.
Shot over Brock Bailey, no good, but Sykes there for the putback.
Yeah, there's that lack of defensive rebounding.
Trims the Panther lead to 4. Corner 3 from Caden Johnson, no good, off-balance shot. But there for the rebound is Twom, and he goes back up for 2.
I think the Panthers got to stick with this defensive intensity if they can. Dickey really working hard out there tonight.
Nugent working hard off the dribble, gives it up to a teammate, no good. And Sykes there again to put the shot back up and in after the Diallo miss.
Webster getting a lot of success on second shots.
Good drive by Jared Johnson's shot, no good. Rebound, Nate Jones. Outlets to Mark Moore, fakes the pass and just perfectly baited Brock Bailey into playing the pass. Mark Moore finishes with the left hand, and all of a sudden it's 67-65 Panthers. Dickey, his 3, no good. Outlet leads Nate Jones. He tracks it down, loses.
Thought he walked.
He could have walked a couple of times. There for the rebound is Caden Johnson. Nate Jones commits the foul. And a good clip there. Good pace for both these teams, kind of stretching the floor.
Does feel like 9 minutes have gone by fairly quickly here.
Yeah. Panthers will just have to be weary of the fouls. And it seems like we say that a lot of games just because they tend to pick up a lot of fouls just with the way they play. As that's out of bounds and turnover by Greenville, gives it right back to Webster. But
Craig's really not expecting that pass. He's not expecting it way out there.
Webster and Mark Moore now drops it off. Nugent hangs up in the air, can't finish, but gets his own rebound, and then he's fouled. And maybe they're going to get Craig. And they're going to get Alvarez.
Nugent almost looks like a second coming of the old Adrian Dantley body size inside. I know that may be hearkening back for most of you. just a small muscle.
A 6'2", 196.
Yeah.
It's a big presence down low as that passes off the mark. And a turnover, so good job by the Panther defense. Trenton Lee inbounds to Crespo.
Yeah, Crespo's got to keep his dribble there.
Yeah. Kicks it out. Alvarez on the wing. Now he picks up his dribble. Good pass to Craig, and kicks it back out.
Good
Crespo.
pass. Good passing.
Then to Lee, who can't finish, but comes up with a steal, falls to Joseph Craig, and he finishes.
Good job for Trenton, sticking with it. Sticking with it. Now that case, hey, Lee, Trenton Lee's not doing anything there. Nugent's just got to move to the side and go get it.
Sykes picks up his dribble. Long outlet up the floor. Nate Jones, he finishes the two-hand slam this time. 69-67, Greenville lead. Keyshawn Thomas off the mark. Trenton Lee
got
tracks
picked
down.
up a foul.
Gets the rebound, draws the foul.
Now this crew on the floor does not have a lot of height. Here comes the next crew in, but.
And that'll include Twom, so some height there.
I think that's another timeout taken by Webster. Be interesting to see if this comes back to haunt him a little bit. I mean, this game looks like it's probably going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, another full timeout taken here.
And I think that was taken by Webster. Am I correct?
Yeah. Chris Bunch called it emphatic, a full timeout. And understand why his team just hasn't been playing up to the standards, they've kind of set themselves once we moved into conference play. This was a team who was right around 500 in non-conference play before we really got into the meat of the schedule, and they just, like that, turned it on. And they haven't really looked back. Now they're in a dogfight after dropping their first conference game. And the top three teams or so of the SLIAC conference, the three of them will really be duking it out for a while to figure out who's going to be the 1-2, who's going to have to play that extra game. But if you're Webster, in your mind, it's just keep winning, and you won't have to worry about that stuff. It all takes care of itself. And frankly, it starts with winning the winnable games. And if you look strictly at standing and record, this would be a winnable game for Webster. But as we know, this is a Greenville team that they're hitting shots, they'll beat anybody.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think we're seeing how close the conference is. Of course, we've already got 4 teams at 3 and 5. You're right, Webster's kind of separated themselves. But you can see tonight, Greenville's very competitive with Webster. And in fact, probably should have extended the lead a couple of different times.
Absolutely, as they do here, albeit with just one free throw for the moment. But Trenton Lee is on the board. He goes 2 for 2.
Yeah, when Trenton Lee's on the court, a few things. You're just, he's going to make the press work even if it's all by himself.
Right. Jones just gets it in, and they're going to say, they're going to say Diallo stepped out of bounds as he tried to save it in for Mark Moore.
Yeah, Webster's up to 24 turnovers. They're still shooting at the 60% clip. That's what's keeping them in this game. And Greenville, they're shooting 39%.
Scott picks up his dribble. It's Cal Mason. He walked. He shuffled his feet. Scott just going a bit too fast there, and he didn't really look like he knew what he wanted to do that entire time he had the ball. He dribbled out, dribbled back in, got a little too far ahead of himself. And Hawkins checks back in. This is Win Brown Jr. for Webster. Diallo and Mark Moore take a seat.
This is what I thought we'd see more of. Brown bringing the ball up and handling it.
He gives it up now. Gets it back from Sykes. Jumper no good. Rebound Twom. Outlet to Scott up the floor. Extra pass. Jerry Johnson now. He's out. Jamie Calmes lost the handle along the baseline. Tried to feed it to Travis Dickey. Pass was stolen away. Hawkins, Euro step, a bit out of sorts. Tried to find Nate Jones. He couldn't handle the pass. It goes out of bounds. So turnover again for Webster. And the Panthers back with the possession. 9:06 left to play.
You know, Brown just missed a shot. I was going to say it's his only miss of the night. He was 8 for 10, so I was off 1.
Jared Johnson now.
Good ball movement there.
Darius Scott, corner 3, no good. Rebound to Hawkins.
Those are the kind of shots I think the Panthers are going to have to hit tonight to beat this Webster team.
Scott hits the deck after the pass from Sykes to Jones, and Jones finishes 71-69.
Panthers are going to have to move a little bit on offense. They look a little tired. They're a little stagnant right now.
Johnson, a couple of head fakes, and finally works around his defender, Carl Moore Jr. And scores 2, 73-69, approaching 8 minutes left to play. And Brown runs the point. Travis Dickey working defensively, got a hand on it. Jamie Calmes dives for it, comes up empty. Hawkins retains possession. Brown Jr. tried to work it around Carl Moore, unable to track it down, and another turnover in the Panthers with possession and some substitutions.
Yeah, this Panther defense has been great all night long. We just need to get the shooting percentage up even into the mid-40s, and I think they'd be fine. But they're just really not overall getting great shots. And give some credit to Webster on that.
The Webster defense has made things difficult at times here for Greenville.
It's a 2-3 zone that covers a lot of ground, but just Greenville's just not able to convert. Now they're going to call that. I thought they should have called a jump early, and that's what Alvarez thought. The longer they let that go, it was going to be a foul. But
yeah, and I think the reason no whistle early there is Alvarez never really had a full possession or grip on the ball. It just made things tough and ends up fouling Coleman. So 7:30 left to play. He'll go to the line, and he misses the first.
Hey, you know, if you're rooting here for the Panthers, you just like to see Webster cool off just a little bit from that sizzling 60%. You'd like to see Greenville be able to, I would say, on the offensive end, just get better looks. But we were talking that 2-3 zone of Webster covers a lot of ground and makes it difficult.
Crespo drops it off for Peacock, and again, too hot to handle. It goes out of bounds, and a turnover for Greenville. As at the other end, Coleman went 1 for 2, so it's only a 3-point lead for the Panthers.
Yeah, it was right in Peacock's hands, but it was, I don't think he was totally ready for that pass.
Spacing was a bit of an issue there between him and Crespo as well. Brown Jr., he walked, drug that pivot foot. Trying to plead his case. So another turnover for Webster, and it seems like now the Gorlocks, whenever they can come up with a defensive stop or turnover, as Win Brown almost does there, they do the same thing and give the ball right back. Thomas drives, draws the contact. He'll go to the line for 2.
Yeah, I think the Panthers can penetrate some seams and find some people open at the 3 line.
Thomas gets the first.
Thomas has 9 points on the night. He's taken 9 of his 10 shots from 3, and he's 3 for 9 from 3.
He goes 2 for 2 there. Keep that 81+% and one at the other end is a really nice drive by Coleman. Results in the fouls. He worked over Peacock rather.
Yeah,
We'll go to the line for one more.
Coleman looked to me, Tyler, like he made up his mind in the backcourt. He was heading straight for the hole.
Not a bad idea.
No.
Try and get the fouls up. That was the 17th foul for the Panthers. So Webster shooting the rest of the way. 75-73. Crespo trying to work around Brown. Finds Alvarez. Nice pass to Peacock along the baseline, who goes off the glass for 2. That's good passing there.
Yeah,
good patience.
Absolutely.
Good work by Alvarez. Comes up with a steal. Can't finish, though. Nugent gets the rebound. Hawkins up the floor. Wynn Brown Jr. with a hand on it. Falls to Coleman. They almost duke each other out for the ball, and somehow Coleman goes up and in for 2. 77-75.
Nice pass.
Tip pass from Crespo to Alvarez. Alvarez's shot blocked. Crespo with the rebound. He can't finish. Nugent tracks down the rebound. That initial block came from Josh Luster. Now Wynn Brown Jr. having some trouble. It was Luster. Goes across the timeline. 77-75. Approaching 6 minutes left to play. Wynn Brown Jr. drives in on Peacock. His shot no good. Peacock is fouled on his way down. And a frantic pace that minute was played at. That was Nugent who fouled. That was his second. And substitutions for the Panthers, Jared and Caden Johnson, Darius Scott, Jamie Calmise, and Guar Twom come back into the game. 6:06 left to play.
See how this 2-3 looks almost like a Syracuse zone. The wings are really high on it. Some of that is the way we play, and so they adjust the 2-3. The soft spot is right there at that free throw line. But then the Panthers have to cut when the ball goes in there.
Caden Johnson now. Works to Jared Johnson. Teardrop, no good. Loose ball falls to Calmise. He can't finish. He's harassed at the rim. Outlet up the floor. Coleman steps. He's fouled on the floor. Will be shooting anyway.
Yeah, Webster's tough to score on in and around the basket. Got good timing in there. They're not necessarily tall. They're hard to shoot over because their timing is so good. They don't go for a lot of head and shoulder fakes.
Coleman gets the front end. 77-76.
Greenville's been the beneficiary here in the last, 5 to 7 minutes, kind of controlling this game scoreboard-wise. This would tie it up here with 5:37 to go.
And he can't.
He can't do it.
Stays a 1-point Greenville lead. Jared Johnson drives all the way. He's fouled on his way up to the rim. So he'll shoot 2. Next one puts Greenville in the bonus. So both teams shooting the rest of the way.
That'll even things out a little bit. May come down to some free throw shooting.
Jared's first. No good.
Greenville only shot 5 free throws. The latest stats I have. And Webster had shot 8. They had shot 50% from the line.
Jared makes the second.
Greenville shooting about 70% from the line.
Hawkins thought about going back, decides to push up the floor. Coleman now. Kicks it out. Luster. Back to Coleman, who finds Hawkins. Passing here by Webster. Yep, offensive.
Yeah.
Extended the arm, lowered the shoulder, all of it.
I just think Webster got frustrated there.
Yeah.
And they were kind of having to work hard out front. Got a little tired, got a little frustrated, and decided to just try to take it on the dribble, and just almost out of frustration there.
Well, it's certainly one way to try and create some space on the offensive end. But typically we'll draw a whistle. And coming back into the game, Jamar Sykes II, as he'll replace Stephen Hawkins. Crespo. Dribble, drives in the lane, kicks out. Keyshawn Thomas, 3, no good. Ball being tipped around. Alvarez tracks it down. Brock Bailey off the window.
Nice play by Alvarez.
Yeah, good feed. Brock Bailey pushes the lead back out to 4. Coleman, cross half court. Takes it all the way. Shot too strong there for the putback. Sykes, no good.
Wow.
Mark Moore commits the foul.
I guess it was a smart. Yeah. I guess he just was gonna make you shoot 2 free throws, but he did that about half court.
Well, not necessarily the guy you want to put at the line inadvertently or not. It's Keyshawn Thomas, shoots about 80%.
Yeah.
So Mark Moore will take a seat, as does Jason Coleman, the junior out of Memphis, Tennessee.
We talked about it could come down to, who's going to shoot free throws well down the stretch here.
Thomas missed the front end, and then a timeout called. It's 30-second timeout. We'll keep it right here. And Chris Bunch just needed to keep the possession there, sensing an important juncture of the game. And the clock is still running. So they have to reset the clock. So they'll get that figured out, but 80-76, Panthers with the lead after the Webster timeout, forced off of the trap in the corner there, but 4:24 left, Doug. You can't quite say run the 4-minute offense here, but what do the Panthers need to do to really kind of close this thing out?
Yeah, I keep saying I'm wondering right now, Tyler, if it's not going to be free throws.
Yeah.
Both teams are going to go to the line. I think there's going to be a lot of fouls called because of the way this game is played. This game is a little bit of a slower slugfest.
Yeah.
Out here. Both teams kind of playing physical. A lot of driving to the hole. I think we're going to see a lot of that from Webster. That's kind of what they do best. They don't necessarily shoot the 3 fantastic, as we've talked about. So I think Webster's going to find themselves going to the hole. If Greenville can knock down 3s, they'll counter that. But right now, with the way Webster's playing their high and wide 2-3, I think Greenville's going to have to score going to the hole as well.
Inbound pass from Nugent into Wynn Brown. Brown works on Thomas, tries to work around him, dribbles into a bit of a double team with Alvarez. Good pressure up top here by the Panthers. As Webster still passing around the top, 10 to shoot. Luster gives it up. Nugent, it's a long 2. Shot missed everything. Sykes catches the shot, goes in for 2.
And that's what's killed the Panthers all night.
Shot missed everything, and they just put it back in for 2. Here's Sykes. Bailey, he can't finish around the rim. Rebound to Carl Moore. Brown now, he's fouled by Crespo. He'll go to the line to shoot.
Yeah.
1-1. Next foul will put Webster in the double bonus.
Yeah, Brown shoots about 73% from the line. Greenville missing some chippies in and around the basket that time. Again, Webster just doesn't give you any clean looks down there.
No.
A lot of our shots in and around the basket are off balance and trying to get it up and over a outstretched arm.
And the front end is good from Win Brown Jr. He's got one more to try and tie it up. 3:31 left to play. Shot up and good. Tied at 80. Jared Johnson now.
Greenville needs to get on a little bit of a run here, like they did against Eureka about this time.
Johnson finds Twom, who gives it right back. Jared thought about taking a long three, decides to dribble drive. Gives it up to Twom, right back. Johnson dribbles through traffic. Has it tipped free, shot no good off the glass. Rebound controlled by Carl Moore.
Yeah. Just
tough sequence there.
Another tough offensive sequence for Greenville.
Calme's got to be careful with that reach there. Shot no good from Brown Jr. Almost caught Jared Johnson off guard. Did Jamie Calmes on the outlet pass after he collected a rebound. Still tied up at 80. 2:40 left to play. Calmes works off the screen. Kicks it out. Jared Johnson. Dribble drive. Now will draw the contact. He's fouled on the floor, so he'll shoot 1 and 1. And foul's going to go against Jamard Sykes the second.
Webster is just, I keep looking out there. They're just, they're strong, Tyler. They've got to be the strongest team in the conference when you look out there at them. They just really kind of make it difficult for you defensively.
I'd say easily the most physical team that we've seen in conference up to this point. And credit to as we'll have a 30-second timeout, we'll keep it here, and that's a credit to the way Greenville's played today and the way they've been able to adapt. Obviously, they can play physical. It's more on the defensive end that the Panthers will get a little more physical and a little more finesse and shoot really whenever, wherever on the offensive end. But they've been up to the task, and helps to have guys like Peacock and certainly Twom, but then you're getting help from guys like Joseph Craig, who's not necessarily playing down low, but a Brock Bailey, who hasn't been in a normal rotation necessarily tonight, but he's made his minutes count.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I just think this could be a free throw battle down the stretch, and I think one thing Greenville's going to have to do defensively is keep Webster off the offensive boards, and that's been a factor in this game as well. So Webster has 49 rebounds compared to Greenville's 31. And they've just, been able to rebound the ball, especially on the defensive side. They have 35.
Jared can't make the second. So it's only a 1-point lead for the Panthers. And second shot coming after a timeout. Brown working on Jared Johnson. Spins, tried to give a pass out towards the top. Looked like Win Brown Jr. may have drugged that pivot foot. No whistle, though. Tip ball falls to Carl Moore Jr. He goes straight up and over the top of Twom. Good for 2. Tough sequence there for the Panthers. They did about everything right. Just a good finish there by Carl Moore. Under 2 minutes to play, 82-81. The Gorlocks lead it.
And Webster's turned this into a half-court game.
Yeah.
And they're very good at the half court.
Forcing Greenville out of their comfort zone. Good find by Thomas. Good finish by Caden Johnson on the baseline. 83-82. Panthers with the lead.
Let's see what Greenville's kind of in a full court press. Coach Barker's been barking some instructions defensively. He really wants something done here in the half court. I think he's wanting to trap.
Luster, turn and shoot, no good. Gets his own rebound, now fading away. Shot short off the rim. Carl Moore Jr. gets the rebound, fading away, no good. Sykes with the rebound to Win Brown Jr. Kicks it out. Extra pass, Hawkins, his three, no good. Rebound there for Keishan Thomas. A minute left to play, 83-82.
All right, you're up one. Let's see, I don't know if Coach Barber wants a timeout.
Caden Johnson, corner three, no good off the front of the rim. Tip to Twom, he finishes for two. Timeout called by the Panthers.
Well, now you're going to have some question marks here. How's George Barber going to play defense? Up three with 46 seconds. It's been kind of the story of the year. How does Greenville adapt to the half-court game? Certainly up three gives you some flexibility. But I think Coach Barber has really wanted to do, we'll have to talk to him hopefully afterwards, but I think in the half-court D here, he's really wanted to be a little bit more aggressive than his guys have been. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask him that. But this last time, boy, did the Panthers get lucky. Webster had, 4 opportunities?
I think, multiple opportunities, second chance. They had 3 or 4 offensive rebounds.
Yep. You'd almost, I know Coach Barber might crucify me, but with the way Webster shoots the three and how well they play inside, I'd be tempted as an assistant to say, let's consider, kind of a full court press that backs them down and then play a zone. What you don't want to do is foul Webster, but they're so easy to foul because they're so strong. They're great on the boards. They go to the hole well. Let's see what Coach Barber wants to do here.
85-82 is the Panther lead with 46 seconds left to play.
And the Panthers do come out matched up full court.
And
they're going to stay man-to-man here, it looks like. We'll see if they try to do any trapping. They don't look like they're coming with any traps.
Luster gives it up. Win Brown Jr. now. Working on Jared Johnson. Gives it up in the corner to Carl Moore Jr. Gives it right back. Win Brown Jr. almost walked. Working on Caden Johnson. Drives in the lane. Hesitating, trying to create space. Loose ball. Still loose. Comes out to the top. Win Brown Jr. Hawkins, wing three, no good off the back heel. Long rebound, Win Brown Jr. The three, no good off the front of the rim. Skying in for the rebound and going for two goes Carl Moore Jr. again, unable to find a defensive rebounder. The Panthers turns it into 2 points, better than 3 as the Panthers cling to a 1-point lead.
Boy, you just thought the Panthers could come up with the rebound, but they just couldn't. However, they're still up 1 with 7 seconds. They're going to have to find a way to enter the ball here and then hit a free throw or two. Now, as you think about this, 1-point lead, 7 seconds. You're going to have to think about who you want on the floor, and you also are going to have to think about using a timeout again if you cannot get the ball entered. We've seen 2 or 3 games here this year where teams have had the ball in critical situations like this, have not been able to inbound the ball and been called for a 5-second call. Tyler, you and I have seen that probably 3 or 4 times. That's why that timeout that Greenville still has to be in the players' minds to call, or Coach Barber to call, if they can't get it inbounds. We talked about this, Tyler. I tried to say, you asked me, what could this come down to? And right now, I still think it's looking like it could come down to hitting some free throws here at the end.
I think you're right. It'll be 7.6 officially left. We'll see if Webster decides to foul without an inbounds and foul before the pass. Always a risky game to play there.
And
but we'll see.
Greenville's got mostly guards in.
Yeah.
They're not going to put, Webster's not going to put anybody on the ball. So let's see. They're going to double team Jared.
Long ball run pass to Jared Johnson. He corrals it in, slips, keeps the dribble, gives it up. Keyshawn Thomas, he's fouled.
A great job there.
With
a well-designed out-of-bounds play. A well-designed out-of-bounds play that was run very, very well. Now, this still comes down to Keyshawn hitting free throws. And now, I believe, Webster has called the timeout. They'll be in a 30-second timeout here.
You mentioned it, Doug. Just a well-drawn-up play out of the timeout, coming up with an inbounds pass play just to get the ball into play. Don't have to burn another timeout. Work to perfection. Jared Johnson loses his balance. The momentum of the Gorlock defenders carry him past him. He's able to keep the dribble, get back up, find a teammate, waste a couple more seconds. How key is that?
Yeah.
And finds Keyshawn Thomas.
No, you're right.
And then he gets fouled. He's an 80% free throw shooter. He just needs to knock in a couple. And it's going to be tough sledding. It's going to have to be a quick shot for Webster coming back down the floor.
A missed free throw here, still doesn't make it very easy for Webster to get a great shot with 2.8 seconds, but you certainly would like to drill both of them.
Keyshawn's first is good. Big free throw there.
I think Webster's out of timeouts. If you're Coach Barber, do you want to take a timeout to set your defense? Second free throw's no good,
but
that's
tipped.
Going to do it. That's going to do it.
Twom got a hand on it, tips it free, and the Panthers have upset the first place Webster Gorlocks here at home, 86-84. Webster's second consecutive loss in conference play. And for Greenville, they've won 4 of their last 5. And as we said last Saturday, starting to get this thing rolling at the right time.
Yeah, they've kind of found their groove a little bit. And I think they won tonight's game and didn't play their best. And I don't know if Coach Barber would see that as a plus or not. But I would look at, you've played the first place team. I think we can play a lot better than we played tonight. And we're able to knock them off. And that's a really, really good sign for the Panthers. I believe we'll be able to get Coach Barber up here. But I really thought, I would say this, the Panther defense really had a good night tonight. Yeah. And forced a lot of turnovers, and that ended up probably being the difference of the game. But it's got to be really encouraging for Coach Barber and the guys.
Well, you can tell they're excited. You look at your screen right now. They're dancing around. They know how big of a win this is. Keep the good times rolling. As we mentioned, 4 out of 5. And look, for a team that struggled not only this year, but to last year and arguably parts of the year before, you're going to take all the good you can get, and you're going to enjoy it when you get it. And this is a big win. This is a very big win. As we mentioned, all of a sudden the outlook of where you're looking at playing, who, when exactly for the conference tournament, all of a sudden now you're right in the mix of top 4. And look, this is a big win. It shows you and your team you can play with anybody in this conference. And that's the best part.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what it says to you. I mean, you look here, and Greenville only shot 37% from the field tonight, 33% from 3, and 68% from the free throw line, and won this game. But where they won the game was forcing Webster into 31 turnovers. That ends up really being the game. The Panthers only turned the ball over 15 times. And so that really ended up being the game. Well, Coach, congratulations.
Wow,
a big
Doug.
win.
Thank you.
And, this probably isn't going to be here was the most encouraging thing to me,
Okay.
but it's probably not going to sound encouraging.
Okay.
I didn't think you played your best game
No,
tonight
we
and
didn't.
won.
It was
you shot 37% from the field, 33% from threes, okay.
Yeah.
The thing you did was force 31 turnovers.
I know. And, Doug, I want to tell you something. All year long, I've been begging the team, please give me 32.
Yeah.
With 2.5 minutes, I said, will you stay in your press and get your 32
Yeah.
so the last minute of the game we can
Yeah.
go like some sort of lock-on deal.
Yeah.
And they didn't get it,
Yeah.
so we're still one short. So we'll run a sprint tomorrow, but that's not one short's not too bad against Webster.
Well, I think it's why you won. I
Yeah,
mean, every
yeah,
other
yeah.
stat, I mean, they shot really well the whole game.
Yeah, everybody
They're
does,
really
yeah.
a strong
Oh, my
team.
goodness.
They're strong.
How many offensive rebounds they get at the end there? 4 on the one
Yeah,
possession.
they did. They had 2 possessions where they had 4, but they had 53 rebounds.
Yeah.
And we're not getting second shots because
No.
they're strong.
Yeah.
But great game. I mean, the 31 turnovers, but you can tell your team's really got
Yeah.
playing with a lot more confidence
thank
right
you.
now.
So culture is important, and they're starting to really buy into what we're trying to do and love each other. So, yeah, thank you. I mean, I just have to wake up on the day that we play Webster and say, I'm not afraid of Webster. I'm not afraid of Webster. I'm not afraid. The little engine that can. I can't make it up the hill.
Yeah.
I can't make it up the hill. So it's always going to be a battle. They're a big school. They're strong, like you said. And I'm just thankful that our guys battle.
Well, and I mean, basically, you could also make the argument that we kind of controlled the second half. I mean, it
Right.
wasn't a large margin.
No, right.
But we kept kind of that 3 to 5 point game
Yeah.
most of the second half.
Yeah, so Darius Scott came out and hit 2 threes.
Yes.
Gave us a little cushion, maybe a 5-point lead. And we kind of
That's right.
maintained that. Just kind of, these guys play with safety behind them. They play a little harder. And if they have a tiny lead, which is different than some of the teams I've had in the past where we, can roar back. These guys really, they're just staunch. They play hard together. And I think I don't know, that just seems to be the nature of this team.
Well, what I also see is close games now. You guys have developed a little bit of confidence.
Right.
You went
That's
through
what I'm
that
saying, yeah.
period where you lost a few close ones.
Yeah, right.
And now it's like, hey, we're going to pull this out.
That's right. So that's what I'm talking about. Just a couple points up, they feel like they can get it done. So let's go with it. I thought Coach Burns, shout out to him.
Yeah.
Keyshawn in the huddle, I had drawn up a play, and Keyshawn said, let's run a sort of a risky play. I said, if you want to do it, let's do it. Coach Burns came in and drew it up, and it paid off in a foul free throw situation.
That was that last. Yeah. It was a good catch.
Yeah, good catch.
I mean if you remember the pass,
took forever to get
the
there.
pass was a little bit like a fastball.
Well, we don't have Rick Mahomes playing for us, so we got to put in who we got. So, anyways.
Well, great game,
thank you
Coach.
so much.
Really
Thanks, Doug.
good game. I mean, to knock this team off was really getting you closer and closer to that conference tournament.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much.
That was head coach Dr. George Barber after a huge win in conference play. Changes really the whole outlook on the rest of this regular season. And looking ahead, now we can kind of say that, looking ahead a bit towards the SLIAC Conference Tournament. Any final words from you, Doug?
Well, not much difference. Those last 2 possessions, giving them 4 shots, was a little scary. But they closed the game out, and they were able to finish. And you and I have been here when they lost the close one to Fontbonne, the close one to Prynne, and you just thought, oh, my goodness, is this year ever going to come to an end?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Coach Barber was up here, I think, after the Prynne loss, and you could just see it in his face. He just, oh, my gosh, we had that one. And now the team has really kind of bolstered themselves. These last 2 wins against Eureka and Webster have been really big wins for this unit.
That's Doug Faulkner. I'm Tyler Rosen. And again, our final, Greenville upsets Webster 86-84. Thank you for tuning into the Panther Sports Network. And until next time, from here in Greenville, Illinois.